Good morning, students. We are back again to revise another topic of computer science, what you had studied in class 3rd. So, in today's class, we will be revising the topics input devices, output devices, and IPO cycle. Alright, now I would like to inform you that at the end of the video, there are 3 questions related to these topics. Alright, what are input devices, what are output devices, and what do you understand by an IPO cycle? So you can note them down in a rough copy so that it is helpful to you in doing the activities. Okay, now let's begin with today's class. So the first topic is input devices. Now, what do you understand by input devices? Now, as the word suggests, input means something that we give to the computer. Alright, input devices. Now, how do we give data in instructions to the computer? Through input devices. So, the input devices allows us to communicate with the computer. They are used to enter data and give instructions to the computer, and we can do that with the help of a keyboard, mouse, scanner, and microphone. Alright, now I will just briefly explain it to you what each of these are. So now there are pictures also in front of each device. So let's take the first one, that is a keyboard. So now what is a keyboard? As you can see in the first picture, there are a lot of keys on it. That's why the name keyboard, isn't it? Now, the letters on the keyboard are not arranged in alphabetical order. Okay, so the keyboards that we use these days are known as QWERTY keyboards. QWERTY keyboards. Okay, as the arrangement of the letters in the first row. So if you see a keyboard, these are the alphabets that are in the first row, that is QWERTY. That's why QWERTY keyboards we call them. Okay, so now there are different types of keys as well. Okay, so a keyboard can be broadly divided into groups of keys. Say for example, alphabet keys. Now there are 26 alphabet keys because there are 26 alphabets. So each alphabet has a key on a computer keyboard. Now these keys are marked with the letters A to Z. Okay. So we can type both capital and small letters using the alphabet keys. Alright, then there are another type of keys that are number keys or the numeric keypad. Now there are two sides. One is this one, as you can see in the first picture. One is a numeric keypad where only numbers are there, and above the alphabet keys there are number keys as well. Okay, so 0 to 9 keys, some keys have numbers from 0 to 9 written on them, so those are the number keys. Okay, now then another type of or another category is cursor control keys. Now you can see these arrows, there are 4 arrows, so those are the cursor control keys. We call them cursor control keys. Then there are function keys. Now where there are alphabet keys, above them are the numbers written, and above that are the function keys. If you see a keyboard, you can see a keyboard, alright, later on, or maybe as the class is going on. So there you will see with F1, F2, F3, F4 till F12. So all these are function keys. Okay, then there are another set of keys, another group where we can divide these keys are known as special keys. Now which ones are the special keys? They are the backspace key, delete key, spacebar key, enter keys, caps lock, shift keys, home key, end, control keys, punctuation keys, and tab keys. So all these are special keys, and each key has a different function which it performs. Say for example, backspace deletes. Okay, delete key also deletes or erases any character. Okay. Backspace erases any character that is present to the left of the cursor, and delete key erases the characters present to the right of the cursor. Okay, so but the function they both perform is to delete or erase something. Say for example, you made a typing mistake, so you can use these two keys to correct that. Then there is a space bar. The longest key on a keyboard is a space bar key. It is helpful in giving space between the letters or words. Okay, just how we write something, we can leave space, but when we are typing, how do we give space? We give space through this space bar key. Then enter key is used to start a new line, and similarly caps lock key is used to write in capital letters. So this was the keyboard. Then comes the mouse. The second input device is a mouse. Now, how is a mouse helpful to us? It can do it can do lots of things with in the computer. We can do a lot of things. What are those things? It lets us point and select items on the monitor. With the help of a mouse, we can select the icons or the items. Okay, then we can drag them from one place to another, isn't it? Then we can also select items. Now, without mouse, we would have not been able to select items or drag them, isn't it? Or open the files, folders for that matter, isn't it? Then what else we can do with a mouse? A mouse lets us draw and paint as well. Alright, now there are two types of mouse. One is an optical mouse and a wireless mouse. Okay, now an optical mouse has a red light under it. Now if you see the mouse, it has a the optical mouse has a red light under it, and a wireless mouse is, now as the name suggests, wireless. That means it is not connected to the computer through a wire. Okay, it communicates with the computer using signals, like how remote works. Similarly, a wireless mouse works. Then there are three actions that it performs: right click, left click, double click, and dragging and dropping. Okay, now as you can see, there is a left button and right button, and in the center there is this scroll wheel. Okay, it scrolls, so that's why it is known as scroll wheel. Alright, then the third type of input device is a scanner. Now what is a scanner? Just as a photocopy machine. What does it do? It copies text and pictures from one paper to another. So similarly, a scanner copies text and pictures from paper onto a computer. In other words, a scanner creates a digital copy of what is there on the paper. Alright, then comes microphone. Now what is a microphone? Microphone or a mic. A microphone is used to input sound into a computer. It records our voice and other different sounds. For example, if we narrate a story and it gets recorded on the computer using a microphone. Alright, now suppose I'm saying this, it is getting recorded. So similarly, when you speak on the mic, the voice gets recorded and we can hear it. So it is also one of the input devices. So these were the four input devices: the keyboard, mouse, scanner, and microphone. Now we come to the output devices. Now, what do output devices do? Now, as the word suggests, output. That means they give us the output or the result. Okay, we will study this in the IPO cycle. But first, let's get to know the devices first. So the output devices are used to display the results of processing to the user. Now, how is it done? With the help of these output devices. Say for example, the first one, monitor. Now, a monitor is looks like a TV screen, isn't it? The actions that you perform using a mouse or a keyboard are displayed on a monitor. Now we can also view pictures, cartoons on the monitor screen, isn't it? Now whatever we do on a computer, where do we see it? We see it on a monitor. Okay, so monitor is also known as VDU. What is the full form of VDU? VDU stands for Visual Display Unit. Okay, so monitor is also known as Visual Display Unit. Now there are two types of monitors, the CRT monitors and TFT monitors. So these days we use TFT monitors, that is thin film transistor. Why? Because it occupies less space and emit less heat as compared to CRT monitors. All right. Then a printer. Now what is a printer? Printer, you must be now familiar with it. A printer copies the information that we see on a monitor onto a paper. So the printed paper is called the printout. We all know that, isn't it? Now whatever you print on a paper is known as a printout. So also the output printed on a sheet of paper is called hard copy. Okay, now you got something printed, so it is called printout, and it could also be called as hard copy. Whereas the output displayed on the monitor, something on the monitor, is called as soft copy. And when you get it through a printer in your hand, then it is a hard copy. All right. Now printers can also be printer can also print in black and white or in colored. All right. Then, for example, printers and laser printer. So laser printers work very fast as compared to other printers, and they are very popular these days. Then comes speakers, another output device. So what can we do with the help of speakers? We can listen to music and sound effects using speakers. Without speakers, there would have been no voice. We would have not heard anything. All right. So this is the work of the speaker. Easy, isn't it? Then headphones. We can also listen to music using headphones. The only difference between the speakers and the headphone is that in the person wearing the headphone. Now headphones we wear, speakers we cannot wear, isn't it? Speakers are something that are kept, but headphones are something that we wear on our ears. So only suppose if I am wearing a headphone or you are wearing a headphone, so only you can hear what is going on. All right, no other person can hear that, but in speakers everybody can hear whatever is being played. All right, now comes the working of a computer. So it is another important topic, working of a computer. The input, now a computer works on the principle of IPO, that is input process output. So the full form of IPO cycle, IPO is input process output. I stands for input, P stands for process, and O stands for output. Okay, so the computer works on this principle, that is input, process, output cycle. So let's understand this now. So this is one example to prepare a cake, say for example. So now here, as you can see, input, process and output. So say for example we have to bake a cake. So for that we will collect all the raw materials we require, isn't it? Then in a bowl, one by one you will put each ingredient. Say for example, first you will put the flour or the eggs, then all these things. Then you will mix it well, put it in a bowl. Then this is what your work is: input. Input, that is something that you are giving. Okay, so our work is only this much. Now we cannot bake a cake, isn't it? Now who can bake a cake? Now in this case, a microwave. So without that we cannot get the output. Cake cannot be made without a microwave. So we have given our input, that is we have done whatever we can do. We have put together all the material, all the ingredients, and now in order to process and bake a cake we require a microwave. So the processing, the baking will happen with the help of a microwave process. Then once it is done we will get the output, that is a delicious cake, and then we can have it. So input, something that we do or we put in, process, where processing happens, and then with because of that processing what we get the result, that is the output. So similarly a computer also works in this manner. Input device for entering data, then for processing data we require a CPU, and for displaying the output we require monitor. Okay, so input, we give input with the help of keyboard, mouse. Okay, so example, we type something, then it gets processed. Who does that? The CPU. CPU is as you can see, the full form of CPU is central processing unit. So the processing happens here, and who does that? Who performs the processing? The CPU. And then the result or the output that we get is on the displayed on the monitor. Alright, so you've understood the IPO cycle. This is how the computer works, and you can very well understand the how quick a computer is. Now as soon as you type something it gets processed so quickly that the next second you can see it on the monitor screen, isn't it? So this is how fast a computer processes and gives us the result. Alright, so this is it with your IPO cycle. Now we come to the question and answers. So copy work, that is you have to do in a rough copy, as we are revising these things. This is not the new syllabus. All right, so you can write down on a in a rough copy, because these questions or the notes will be helpful to you in making the activities. All right, so the question number 1, what are input devices? Answer: the devices that are used to enter data and instructions to the computer. Input devices, now there are 4 types of input devices. First, keyboard. The keyboards used by us are also known as QWERTY keyboards. The keys on the keyboard can be broadly divided into alphabet keys, number keys, cursor control keys, function keys, and special keys. I've already explained each to you. Mouse. A mouse lets us point and select items on the monitor, draw and paint, drag an item from one place to another. Scanner, it copies the text and pictures from a paper onto a computer. It creates a digital copy of what is there on the paper. Microphone, it is used to input sound into a computer. It records a voice and other different sounds. Question 2. What are output devices? The output devices are used to display the results of the processing to the user. Output devices. First, monitor. A monitor looks like a television screen. Monitor is also known as VDU. VDU stands for Visual Display Unit. Then, second, printer. It copies the information that we see on a monitor onto a paper. The printed paper is called the printout or a hard copy, as I've already told you. Then speakers. We can listen to music and sound effects using the speakers. Question 3. What is an IPO cycle? A computer works on the principle of IPO. The cycle followed by a computer of taking input, processing it, and giving the output is known as input process output IPO cycle. Now, input process output each is described. Alright, so the first one, input, the data and instructions which a computer gets through the input devices is called input. Second, process. The entered data is processed or changed into meaningful information by CPU, the central processing unit. So, whatever input we have given, the CPU changes into a meaningful information and then we get the output. Alright. Then output. The result of processing is known as output. The output is displayed through the output devices. And where does this result get displayed? It is displayed through the output devices, monitor, and all these things. Okay. So, I hope this is clear to you now. So, these were the 3 questions which I had already explained during the slides. So, I have given it to you in a written form as well. So, you can copy down them in a rough copy. And this is it with this topic of input devices, output devices, and the IPO cycle. Thank you.